If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and hit that like button. It really helps me out. So I already dropped a video a couple of days back, a couple of weeks maybe, talking about Pop Smoke's new album, and it's finally here. It dropped today on July 3rd, and this is my review of it. First of all, I can say that I did actually enjoy the album. I have a positive opinion on it. We're going to start a bit with the whole album cover drama, which there was because Virgil Abloh did the album cover for Pop Smoke's new album, but it really looked very rushed and people really didn't appreciate that, and that's why they later also changed it, and now it's this chrome rose, kind of like what we talked about in the other video too, where we went over that whole chrome concept. So I actually do like the new album cover. I think it's way better than the thing that Virgil did, because that really wasn't it. The album itself is longer than I expected. We have 19 tracks on here. I was expecting just some... As I said, I'm not very confident in posthumous albums, just because we've had things with X, for example, that really were under my expectations. But this one is actually 19 tracks, as I said. I was expecting maybe 10, maybe, whatever they could find that's left over from Pop Smoke. Before he, of course, passed, rest in peace. So yeah, and also I think it's done better and more cohesively. The production is better. It's not just some random verses that they found and just like threw together with a bunch of features. There are still a lot of features on here. When we go through a list, there's a lot of big names too. We have Quavo on here a couple times actually, Lil Baby, Da Baby, Sway Lee, Future, then Rowdy Rebel, which we already talked about, the Make It Rain single that dropped in the other video. We have 50 Cent, we have Roddy, we have Tyga, we have KLG with a Spanish part on the album too, and Lil TJ, and King Combs, yeah, that's true, also later. So yeah, there are still a lot of features, but they're used way better than in other posthumous albums. They're not just there to kind of fill in the whole track. Although I did kind of think, for example, on West Coast, it was kind of a Quavo song, just with a verse from Pop. But of course, that is actually excusable, just because the rest of the album is put together in such a good way. Part of the reason of this could, of course, be that he was included in the creation of the album. He was working on it while he was still alive. And for example, now bringing it back to the comparison with XXXTentacion, of course, X, they just took leftover stuff that he had somewhere for unreleased songs, and in this case, Pop was really actively featured in the creation. Getting into the songs a little bit, I feel like the first half is kind of like just banger after banger in the usual Pop Smoke style. I really do enjoy it though. The production is nothing incredible, but it's really solid. It really features that, that drill sound, the British drill sound that kind of like is now the Brooklyn, New York type of style. I do enjoy that quite a bit. So that I really thought the first half was very solid in terms of the songs, just because they were usual Pop Smoke cadences and flows over very, drill sounding beats. The second half though was much slower. Also, we have like 2-3 even love songs on here, which I haven't been following Pop Smoke for a whole while. I of course knew him, and he was like on my radar ever since the first Meet the Woo drop, but I wasn't really a big fan. I of course listened to everything he released, and so these love songs really, it makes me wonder what else he could have done if he was with us for longer. Because I always thought he had the same problem as, for example, Da Baby, where like he can't seem to switch up his flow. But this showed that he could. And so that's really interesting to me, just because I feel like he could be such a versatile artist with, development to go through and with more stuff to come in the future. So it's really sad. It makes me feel sad that we can't see what he would have gone on to do. But all in all, I really enjoyed the album. I thought the album was from top to bottom, very solid. It, of course, is very Pop Smoke style, and it really didn't feel forced. It felt like really 50 Cent did a good job here. of, I mean, he was not the only one included, but he was kind of the person that also promoted it and, you know, hyped it up. And I feel like he did a good job with like arranging all the songs. And there's also a bunch of songs in here that aren't with features on them. So that seems like those were actually songs that were done, you know, before Pop Smoke passed. And the track list was well put together just because we have songs with features and then we have songs without features. So it seems more natural and organic than just like, as I said, taking something that's left over, throwing a feature on it, and calling it a day. So I'm really happy with this new album. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought of it. And if you've watched this video to the end and liked it, I would really appreciate it if y'all would subscribe, turn on notifications, and hit that like button. It really, really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day.